Hey y'all, it's Leah. Today we are going to talk about how to make this fun crinkle ribbon. So it is something that I have been obsessed with. Sari silk is really pretty, but it's sometimes hard to get and it can be really expensive. And so I have found kind of an alternative that I can make myself and do pretty much any color that I want. So today we are going to go through how to make these really pretty ribbons that we can use in a variety of different ways. And so I'm just grabbing out some colors that I want to use today because I use the oxide inks to get these real cool pretty colors. You'll see the difference when I actually make them versus how they dry. They do dry to kind of more of like a chalkier color, and I just think it's really beautiful. It goes really well in the journal. So don't be, when you do them at first, if you try this, don't be alarmed at kind of the bright vivid colors that you get, because they will dry more of a subtle kind of muted color. And so they're just really pretty, and it's really cool to see kind of how they start. But you can see these are about 1 yard lengths. I roughly just kind of pull my arm out, pull one arm out and hold the spool in the other hand and just sort of pull it out. So they're roughly about 1 yard lengths, but these work really well as tag toppers, or I've even put them on a page, on like the side of a page, just kind of crinkling them up with a string of glue on there. I usually use the double-sided tape, put that down, and then just sort of tack down the ribbon. You can use it at the bottom of tags, the bottom of pockets, pretty much anywhere you're going to use ribbon or lace, you can use this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started so I can show you how easy this truly is. So I'll set these aside. So all you need to get started is some rayon seam binding. So I get this from Amazon. I think it runs about $23 for 100 yards, and I'll put a link down below. So you figure, I mean, 100 strands of seam binding. These last me pretty for quite a while. I do send a lot of this in Happy Mail. I'll ask people what colors they are working on and or want, and so I'll send some of those to them. So I don't keep it all to myself. I send some to my mom and different people and stuff. So but I think this is my third spool that I am on now. So when you pull it out, it just looks like this. It's just a white kind of shiny ribbon, and so it's really cool what that can turn into. Okay, so that's what we start with. Then you just need some sort of flat, smooth surface. So I use a glass mat, but not everybody has one of these. You could use wax paper if you have even like aluminum foil would be a little bit crinklier, but it's not going to make much of a difference. You just need something that's got that kind of smooth surface that you can smush your ink on. Okay, so you just wouldn't use paper because your paper is just going to soak up your ink. So you need something where the ink is going to kind of pool. Okay, so then you need your Distress Oxide. So I just pulled 3 random colors from there. And then you need some water. So that's about all there is to it. So, and then you want some kind of way to clean it up. I just get baby wipes. I find the cheapest ones that I can find. And so I'll just have that ready, because you want to clean your mat in between each kind of smush. Okay, so I just open up my ink and I'm just gonna smush it on my mat. I do about 5 or 6 smushes. I have found that gives me kind of the right amount of ink. And then I'm gonna spritz it, and again, I probably do about 5 or 6. You just want it, see how it kind of goes from being solid to kind of being more watery. So you want it, you can kind of see even when did that last spray, it just sort of flows. So you want to get it to that flowing stage. So now I'm going to take my seam binding and I am just going to smush it in there. And so I'm just kind of moving it all around. I'm noticing where I have some white spots and trying to get all of those kind of covered. But even if you don't get them all covered, that is sort of the beauty of dyeing your own stuff, is it's not going to be perfect, and that is kind of cool. I like that aspect of it. So I'm just kind of smushing, getting all the ink kind of wiped up off of my, and I think that's looking pretty good. So the key to get it to crinkle is to keep it real smushed like this. And then I just have these trays I got at IKEA. It's like a cafeteria tray, and I just line them. I make a little pile of them, and so I'm just going to leave it there, and I usually let it dry at least overnight, but sometimes even longer. So then I'm just going to wipe up where I was working. I forgot to mention that I didn't put mine on. Gloves are usually a smart thing to do, but I just forgot to put them on, so it's not a big deal. It'll come off. So now we're gonna do a little green. So, and this ink pad is not as juicy as my other one, so I'm gonna do a few more smushes on this one just to make sure I'm getting enough ink on there. Okay. And then we'll do our spritz of water. I need to fill up my little water bottle. There we go. Got one good one. Oh my goodness. I have to just pour a little water on there. I think that's going to be a little bit easier. Okay. Kind of cool how it does that. All right. So now we're going to grab our seam binding, and again, we're just smushing it. And kind of the more water, the water is going to dilute it a little bit. That does make it a little bit easier. Kind of the more water you have on there is going to dye it. Just make sure, yeah, that is pretty well covered. And you'll notice it's kind of cool when it dries, like some pieces had a little more ink on them, or kind of how it is smushed together. You'll have kind of that unevenness of color, and that looks really cool too. Okay, so we'll do one more. I'm going to do kind of this light, using Tattered Rose for this one. And this is a juicier pad, so I don't need as much on there. We'll just pour a little water since our spritz isn't working as well. It's kind of a cool pattern on there. And then we will just get this going. Just kind of mop it all up. So it is, again, this is super easy. I usually do like, I don't know, 20 yards at a time. I'll just pull out every color that I think I want and just kind of go to town, because you can see how quick each one goes. And then I just kind of fill up my tray with all of my different colors. And so you end up with these when you are done with it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you give it a try. Let me know in the comments if you do. All right, see y'all next time. Bye.